Good evening, groovy citizens, and happy motivational Memorial Day Monday. So, hopefully, you all have been having a wonderful day. I don't know where you live, but right here in the DMV area, it has been raining. As you can hear, the rain coming down. It has been raining on and off all day. And so, yeah, no, I don't think people have been sitting out barbecuing today. However, I will say this, while I do want you all to enjoy your day, I also want you to make sure that you remember what this day is really about. It's not just about being off of the day. It's not just about barbecuing and drinking beers and sitting back having a good time. All those things are fine, but let's remember what today is really about, and that is remembering our fallen soldiers that have served this country in such a great way and were killed in the line of duty. So I always like to stress that, because I was talking to somebody not too long ago, and they were like, oh, I'm so glad, I'll be glad when Memorial Day come up, I'm going out of town, this, that, and the other. And I said, oh, that's great. So what are you going to do to remember the fallen soldiers? And they looked at me like, what? Yeah, let's not forget that, okay? All righty, now that I've gotten that out of the way, let's jump into today's topic, which is no more excuses. No more excuses. And so I have a couple of quotes that I want to share with you as always. We'll unpack them a little bit. I'm going to bid you all good day, because the sister needs to go in the house. Not only do I need to get this video uploaded, but I need to get me something to eat. And I forgot that tomorrow's trash day, so I do have to get this trash out. So this first quote says, what is the common denominator of failure? I'm asking you to really think about that. What is the common denominator of failure? What are you failing in? You never say because of me. Notice how when I ask the question, what is the common denominator of failure? It's never because you say because of me, right? On its, we always say, oh, it's the competition. It's the economy. It's the president. If you wake up tomorrow morning and blame your failure on someone or something else, you have no reason to change, do you? When I saw that, y'all, let me tell you something. That was powerful. Powerful. I'm going to say it again. If you wake up tomorrow morning and you blame your failure on someone or something other than you, then you have no reason to change. You know why? Because in your mind, your failure is attributed to everything and everybody else. It has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with everything else and everybody else, and that's just not true. When we don't succeed in life, when we fail at anything, it's a mixture of things. It's a plethora of things. I just want to use that word. But sometimes it's our environment. Sometimes it's the people in our lives. But the common denominator is us. We all play a part in our failure. And I've talked about this before. Whenever things don't work out, stop trying to point the finger at everything and everybody else and acknowledge the part that you played. So if you did not get the job that you were looking for, ask yourself, did you do everything that you should have done to try and apply for that job? Did you make sure that your resume outlined all of the work that you've done that would make you eligible for that job? Did you make sure you reached out to the HR people? Did you do your part? When you're trying to lose weight, did you do what you were supposed to do? Did you eat right all the time? Did you log in your food? Did you make sure you got in your exercise? You understand what I'm saying? We play a part in every single failure in our lives. Just like, again, we talked about this before. When relationships don't work, we always want to point the finger. Well, it didn't work because of him, because of her. No. How about look at the part that you played as well? Because maybe if you were a different person, that person wouldn't have felt the need to cheat or to leave you. Maybe it's because of your ugly attitude, your funky attitude, whatever you want to call it. We all play a part. And he says, but if you woke in the morning and looked in the mirror and said, I am failing because of me, the decisions that I make, the energy I put in, I'm not passing the blame. If you look in the mirror tomorrow and say that, you will change. You know why? Because now you're acknowledging the part that you played. I love that. I love that. Can you imagine waking up tomorrow morning, you looking in the mirror and you say, you know what? I'm failing because of me. The decisions that I make, the energy that I put into whatever that thing is. So if you are trying to start a business, a YouTube channel, whatever, any type of a platform business or whatever you want to call it, and it's not really taking off the way you want it, ask yourself, are you putting all of your energy into it? Or are you just putting your energy into it when you feel like it, or when it suits you to do so? But yeah, you have to decide that you are not going to pass the blame anymore. Take responsibility for the part that you play, and I promise you, you'll want to change. So, and this is an unknown quote, by the way, and whoever the guy was that said it, he says, if you look in the mirror tomorrow and say that, you will change. Because nobody likes to think of themselves as a failure. I know I don't, and I'm pretty sure you don't either. Next quote's by Eric Thomas. He says, you must be very intentional and deliberate. You're not going to wake up one day and find a law degree. You're going to have to work for it. Y'all, that is so powerful. I had to share it. And I love the way he starts off by saying, you must be very intentional and deliberate. If I want my YouTube channel to grow, I've got to be intentional and deliberate. If I want my podcast to really get out there, I've got to be intentional and deliberate. I cannot do it just when I feel like it. I cannot do it just because a video got X number of views to it. I've got to keep putting the same energy in when nobody's viewing as I do when I get views. I told you all recently, when I first started my YouTube channel, I acted like I had followers and I didn't. I said, thank you all for those of you that are following me. I appreciate you. Hang in there. The best is yet to come, and whatever else it was I said. I didn't have not one follower yet, but I kept talking like I did. And my channel is growing over time. It's growing. I don't need a big burst of growth. It would be nice, but if I don't, just a few subscribers a month, hey, I'll take that too. But what I'm saying is, I had to be intentional and I had to be deliberate. Next quote is by Eric Thomas as well. He says, your problem is you wake up on Monday and you might be strong, but by Wednesday you're not intentional and deliberate. You are hoping that the best is going to happen to you, and the best never just happens to you. You have to be intentional and deliberate. You have to decide you are going to do something, and you have to do it every Monday, every Tuesday, every Wednesday, every Thursday. And of course, the week, throughout the week, you've got to be intentional every day of the week. He says the problem with some of you is you're not intentional and deliberate. You are a good person, so you think only good stuff is going to happen to you. I just don't want you to keep doing dumb stuff and say your life is miserable. Your life is not miserable. Your ability to make adjustments, come on somebody, to make connections is messed up. Let me go back and say that again. He says your life is not miserable. Your ability to make adjustments, to make connections is messed up. So if you think you're failing because you're not able to make the right connections, that your life is messed up, it's not messed up. It's because your ability to make adjustments is messed up. That's why I always say every now and then you've got to take a step back, look at your life and see what you've accomplished and what still needs to be accomplished. See what works and what isn't working, and you make changes based on what's not working. But if you're not keeping track of those things, and guess what? You can't fix what you don't acknowledge. Moving on. Next quote is unknown, and it says, what would you be like? What would happen if you just stopped wasting the opportunities that are in front of you? You'd be 10 times more efficient, 20 times more efficient. You have no idea how efficient and effective people can get. That's powerful. This next quote is by Tyrese, and he says, it's a choice. You just have to wake up. You just have to break through. You just have to be relentless. You just have to never let off the gas, never stop, never quit, never allow anyone to talk you out of the dream, the vision, and ideas that God has sent you. Again, that quote is by Tyrese, and I love it. You've got to make up in your mind that you're not going to allow anybody to talk you out of that thing that God has put in you to do. And that's the problem. Too many of you say, well, I really want to do ABCXYZ, but these people tell me this isn't going to work because people are already doing this. So what? Who cares what they think? You go and do what God has called you to do. Next quote is by Ray Lewis. He said, there is no tomorrow. We don't get this again. The car runs too fast. That's why we got to savor these moments, because they are right now. Love that. And to me, that says that if you keep saying to yourself, I'm going to do it tomorrow, I'll get to it tomorrow, I'll get to it next week, next month, next year. Let me tell you something. All you have is right now. All you have is this very moment. Tomorrow is not guaranteed to you. It is not promised to you. Nobody owes you tomorrow. So when you talk about making excuses, that's the biggest excuse in the book. I'll do it tomorrow, because you're assuming that there is a tomorrow for you. Yes, I know we plan about what we want to do and take on tomorrow. Got that. I'm not saying don't do that. What I'm saying to you is, if you keep making the excuse that you're not going to do something today because you're going to do it tomorrow, one of these days you're going to find out that tomorrow just may not come for you. So don't always rely on that. Next quote is unknown. It says, take advantage of today. Tomorrow might not exist. Tomorrow, yes. If it comes, great. If tomorrow comes, it's a gift. All we have is a blessing of today. And again, that's what I was just telling you. Tomorrow is a gift. Just like today, yesterday, you went to bed. You didn't know if you were going to wake up. So when today rolled around, it's a gift. It's not a given. Nobody owes it to you. Keep that in your mind. Next quote is by Eric Thomas, and he says, they print money. They don't print time. Come on, somebody. They don't print opportunities. You can lose money and get it back. You can't get back time. You can't get experiences back. Average people focus on money. The great focus on time. I don't know. Again, when we get back to that whole, I'll do it tomorrow. I need you to start valuing time the way you value your money, because your time is something that you can never get back. Okay, you lost money gambling. You lost money on an investment. You may have lost money because you just dropped your wallet. You can get that back, and then some, but you can't get back your time. Once you waste your time either on someone or doing something, you can never get that back. You can't always get back experiences, so stop letting those things get away from you. Next quote is unknown. It simply says, you think too much. These separators gonna be who takes massive action quickly. This one I couldn't wait to share with you. Some of y'all think too much. I used to be that person where someone would say something, I go, I need to think about it. Let me weigh my pros and cons. And I'm not saying not to do that, but some of you all think way too much. Some of you all right now have been thinking about something for the last few months, probably the last year, if not more, and you need to take action. And that's the separator from that separates the mediocre from the greats. The greats will say, hey, you know what? That's a great idea. I'm going to run with it. I'm not saying, again, don't do your due diligence to look into things, but you've got to move quickly, because what is that old saying? The early bird gets the worm. You think too long, you think wrong. Let me move on. Next quote is unknown. When everything's in motion, what happens? You give birth to new opportunities. Again, you cannot make excuses and think you're going to give birth to new opportunities, because you're not. You're making too many excuses, and those opportunities are passing you by. Next quote's by Steve Harvey. And this is the last quote. He says, all of you have extraordinary capabilities. All of you. You have to decide if you are willing to do the things to put you in that category. Let me wrap this up by saying, you all have extraordinary capabilities that were assigned to you. But if you keep making excuses, you will never, ever, ever, never be able to see them come to pass, because you're making too many excuses, and you're putting things off for tomorrow, for next week, next month, next year. And like I said, they're not guaranteed to you. If those things come, great, but always remember they're a gift. They're not a given. Y'all listen, that's it. That's my time, because like I said, I need to go eat. That my stomach is growling, and I need to get out this rain, because after I eat, I need to get this trash out. But I want you all to listen to what I really said. I'll put the quotes in the description box, but no more excuses. We're not doing that anymore. We are not doing that anymore. Do you understand what I'm saying? If you're new to watching my videos, I want to say thank you so much for joining me. I do car conversations every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday, so be sure to come back on Wednesday. Yeah, I did say Wednesday. And if this is not your first rodeo, I want to say welcome back again, because y'all know I miss you and I don't get a chance to see you. Listen, I love you all to the moon and back, and there's nothing, I mean absolutely nothing that you can ever do about that, because I'm never going to stop loving you. I love you, I believe in you, and I want to see you succeed. So stop making excuses and go out there and be successful. Till Wednesday, take care.